Hi folks, Andrew Portessa here, and I'm on Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Ultimate Evil Edition on PS4 with my main character, my Witch Doctor. Should be obvious that he's my main due to the crazy stats on the left there. But I wanted to go through essentially what my quote-unquote build is, because last night I completed the Zuni Masses set over here. And when combined with a legendary voodoo mask, Carnival, and with the certain skills that I have, the combination's pretty awesome. So I just kind of wanted to go through my items, then through the skills, and then show you essentially the build in action, and just talk over a few things. So let's start off with the items, and let's start off with this legendary voodoo mask. As you can see, I have a flawless royal topaz in it, just to get 41% magic find. A lot of people use a ruby rather than a topaz for extra bonus experience, but right now we're playing on Torment 5, and you get 1,200% bonus experience when playing on Torment 5. So I didn't really feel like 41% extra XP on top of that was really worthwhile, but rather going from 0% magic find to 41% magic find was worth it. So that's why the topaz is in there. The key thing to note about this voodoo mask is the orange writing there. Your fetishes shoot a poison dart every time you do. That should give you a signal that yes, I am using poison dart, obviously, and I also have the fetishes on my skill bars. So anyway, moving on. Now, my amulet, Traveler's Pledge. I'm lucky enough to have a legendary gem inside that thing, which gives a 25% of an explosion of gold whenever I kill an enemy. So that's why I've got 57 million gold. Like, that legendary gem is just insane. The Traveler's Pledge, as you can see, is part of the Endless Walk set that I've completed, because there's a ring called the Compass Rose that you'll see in a minute. And completing the set gives me 250 points of vitality and 50% more critical hit damage. So there we go. That's also very useful. So that's a complete set there. Then Guardian's Aversion. This wrist item is ancient, hence the gold border. And I also have Guardian's Case. The Gaze, though, is a head item, and having that, completing that set, would mean I'd have to lose this Carnival Voodoo Mask, which means that my fetishes would lose the poison dart. So I don't actually want to complete this set. But as you can see, more vitality, more life per second. All I'm missing out on is 15% movement speed. Not really a deal breaker. And now we start to get to the Zuni Master set. And as you can see, I have 10% more zombie dog damage. So obviously zombie dogs feature in my build as well. The only part of the Zuni Master set missing, again, is the mask. But again, if I had the Zuni Master mask, I'd have to lose this one. The nice thing about the Zuni Master set is that you don't have to have all 5 pieces to complete the set. And if we look at the bonuses down here, your fetish army lasts until they die. Normally they die automatically after 20 seconds after you summon them. But now, my fetish army can only get killed by the demons, and when they do get killed, chances are that I can just resummon them again because the cooldown on the skill will have finished. So, this is why I love the Zuni Master's Haunt set that I've now completed. There's the Zuni Massive Ring, there's the Compass Rose of the Endless Walk set with the amulet I showed you earlier. There's the Zuni Massive Boots. Ashira's Pace, this is an ancient item, and if you look, with this particular ancient one, I went to the Enchantress, and she gave me 15% poison dart damage, which is the maximum she possibly could. So that makes my poison dart even stronger. And considering that my fetishes fire a poison dart every time I do, that basically increases the damage of all their poison darts as well. So there's quite a lot of good synergy in this particular build. Going over to my belt, again, 14% more poison dart damage. So if you're keeping track, that's 29% extra poison dart damage from, this item here and then this item here. And then my main weapon, 2,211 weapon damage. So that's the weapon damage that all of my skills, is gonna basically multiply that damage, as you'll see. As you can see, this is part of a set, but I probably won't be completing this set because I think the other item is an offhand, and that would break my Zuni Master set, and I don't want to lose my Fetish Army after 20 seconds, so there we go. Then there's the Ashera's Gloves. I'm not too bothered about completing this set either, because again, it would break some Zuni Master things. Although, I could possibly have his shoulders, because as you can see here, I have these ancient shoulders that are really good, but I don't have any other part of the set, so potentially I could go and craft some of the Ashera's shoulders and get the third set bonus, which is 20% life, and considering I'm lacking vitality, that might not be a bad idea. And then there's the Zuni Master chest piece, and then that's all the items. So now let's look at the skills. Obviously, Poison Dart. And, Poison Dart gets buffed by 29%, in addition to what you see on the writing there. And then it gets multiplied by 9, because when I summon fetishes, I have them doing a Poison Dart whenever I do. So you get 9 of those, but my Poison Dart is buffed even more to a Flaming Dart. So I get 565% weapon damage. So 565% of the 2,211 that I showed you as my weapon damage there. And when you multiply that with, 8 other poison darts that I could just do over and over and over again, this is going to be insane damage. And it obviously, because poison dart doesn't cost any damage, I can do this all day, literally. So yeah, that's really cool. We have fire bats though on the Diabat rune, because when you do spend mana for that, the bats can fly through and penetrate all the enemies. So if there's loads of enemies in a line, all stood behind each other, Diabats is great for that. And all the fetishes do a little dance whenever I do it, so that's cool as well. Then we have, obviously, Fetish Army, and the Legion of Dagger rune, because normally you'd only have 5 fetishes. Legion of Daggers increases it by 3 for a total of 8, so there we go. Then Spirit Walk for getting out of trouble. Imagine if you come across an elite pack of monsters, they have Waller to fence you in, then they have Desecrate to make the ground underneath you, where you're trapped, turn into fire and damage you. So, doing Spirit Walk lets me walk through the wall, walk through any enemies that might be blocking me, and it also will heal 14% of my life as well. You only get 2 seconds of Spirit Walk, but you're essentially invulnerable for those 2 seconds, and it's really good for getting out of trouble. Then Acid Cloud, I think, is a great skill, but when you cast it, enemies are smart enough just to get out of the area of effect most of the time, and it is a bit of a slow burn. With Kiss of Death, you can aim the Acid Cloud in a bit more of a cone, and I believe the damage is increased a little, as you can see. And if you spam it on the same area, I believe the damage can stack.
I do not have enough mana.
But as you can see, you can actually fire a lot of them, and you can cover quite a large area as well. So Kiss of Death is really good if you want to combine it with Poison Dart. I put a bunch of that acid down underneath him and then fire 9 Poison Darts. I mean, it's just, so powerful. And then Gargantuan. Gargantuan is another minion that can fight for my side, and once every 2 minutes, if you come across an elite pack his movement speed's increased by 20%, attack speed by 35%, and physical damage is doubled. So, it's like really, really, really strong. And then the passives, as you saw, like one of my items gives 10% more zombie dog damage. And so you may be wondering, yeah, this offhand here, where's my summon zombie dog skill? Well, it's all in my passives because Circle of Life, if you kill an enemy within 20 yards of you, there's a 15% chance they'll turn into a zombie dog. And then every other passive I have lets me have an extra zombie dog for a grand total of 5. So those other passives are Zombie Handler, if you see look, extra zombie dog, and then it increases their life by 20%, same for my Gargantuan. And then look, Fierce Loyalty, extra zombie dog, and whenever they are following me but I'm not in combat, my movement speed is increased by 30%, so I can kind of outrun demons. That's useful. And then Midnight Feast, extra zombie dog, and then the damage of my zombie dogs and my Gargantuan is increased by 50%, and that will also stack with the Gargantuan's buff that can occur once every 2 minutes as well. So that's essentially the skills. Lastly, I'm just going to show you the gems that I have. So again, we have the Topaz and the Helm for the extra magic find, and then Topaz is all here to increase my intelligence, which is what multiplies the Witch Doctor's damage essentially, because intelligence is the Witch Doctor's primary attribute. Then we have the Flawless Royal Emerald in the weapon because it increases critical hit damage by 130%. And then more topazes in, the set intelligence. And then lastly, that legendary gem that gives me a ton of gold in the amulet. So there's my gems as well. Now let's quickly show you a bit of the build in action. And again, we're on Torment 5 rather than 6 because my Vitality and Defense, I just feel isn't strong enough quite yet for Torment 6, especially if you get reflex damage. My damage is so much higher than my Vitality that my own attacks can kill me if the enemies have reflex damage. Obviously, I just stop attacking when that happens until reflex damage goes away. But it adds a nice risk-reward element to playing this particular build.